yesterday and today, and this is something that you're going to see most every day, because this morning with first hour I have regular government first and seventh hour, and last night I put together a group on Teams and sent out an email to all of my regular government students and invited them to a meeting at 8 a.m. this morning. Just testing it out. And I actually had, hi.
I went to the wrong class.
Okay. So you must be
I'm
Riley Malone.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. Or one behind it. Just space ourselves out. That's good. Sorry. Excused. All right. If you like, now, do you two know each other pretty well?
Yeah.
Spend time together
Yeah.
outside of school? Okay. Because if one of you guys gets sick, then because you're sitting next to each other, the other one's probably going to have to stay home. You understand how that works, the quarantine thing? So there's room to spread out more if you want. If you guys are comfortable where you're at, see that little piece of paper on the sheet? Write your name, and then you guys are gold, right? So gold second hour, and then I'll put the seating chart together there like that, okay? But anyhow, I went live this morning and had 5 students wake up at 8 a.m. and come in. Now they heard the same thing yesterday because they were here yesterday morning, but they're home this morning. And so, guys, what's going to happen in this class is basically on Mondays, typically you guys are going to be at home. What time is it? It is, second hour starts at 9:40. So I'm going to send you guys an invite every Monday and Wednesday at 9:40 that you can stream into my classroom with the other 16 students that are in the green. Okay? You can choose to get up at 9:40 and watch live. You can even ask questions. You can type in the chat. Or I'll be recording it. Okay? And I will post that recording on Canvas. Okay? I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it, whether I want to put it in announcements or assignments. But I'll put it somewhere where you'll be able to find it. And you just need to watch that before the next day of class. Otherwise, you're going to be behind. Okay, because in a class like this, which is a college class, college level class, I've got a lot of material to get through. And if I just do the same thing every other day, I teach the same thing 2 days in a row, I'm not even going to get through half the stuff because we have Wednesdays off. So I've got to keep going. Okay, so one lecture you're going to get in person, face to face, and one you're going to get online. Now, guys, I understand. We did this in the spring, and I taught this class last spring, and I recorded between my classes 57 videos. And I post them on YouTube. And if you ever post anything on YouTube, you can tell how many views you get. The first couple weeks of, the shutdown, I got views from every student. The last couple of weeks, that dropped by about a third. Okay? So I understand. I'm taking a class right now through friends, Monday nights. I signed up for the in-person. They canceled the in-person. So Monday nights, from 6 to about 8:30, I'm sitting in front of my computer taking a class. And it sucks. These suck. I hate this. Okay? But we got this. And we need to keep this as long as we can. I know you're probably hearing this from other teachers. I'm going to say it again. If you don't feel good, don't come to school. You're not going to miss anything. It's all going to be on Canvas. So protect yourself, protect others, protect Mrs. Fox, Coach Lawbon, people with comorbidities. Okay? I'm healthy. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes. I don't have any issues. I'm not worried about getting COVID. My wife had COVID. She's a couple years older than I am. She doesn't have any comorbidities. Did she have symptoms? Yes. Was she sick? Yes. Was it any worse than the normal flu for her? No. In fact, it was probably lighter. How many of you guys know somebody that's had it? Okay? So everybody's different. But people your age, a lot of times, there's no symptoms. Okay? And so you don't know you have it. So you're not going to get this at Home Depot or Dillon's. You're not going to get COVID. Okay? Where you're going to get COVID is when you go to that party Saturday night and you're hanging out with all your friends in a big group up in each other's face and you don't have your mask on. Not that the mask really work anyways. Okay. I don't like the mask. At the beginning of this, you can go back and look it up. They were saying masks don't work. Okay? But if I got to wear this to do this, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? If I got to wear it to go watch a football game or volleyball game or go to Dillon's, I'm going to wear it. It sucks. There's no really other way of putting that. But that's government. Okay? That's what we're going to study. How do they have the power to tell us to do this? Okay? Who gets to decide? And so forth. Those are all part of the things we'll learn, part of the process. Okay? So you can call me Mr. Ebright. You can call me Mr. E if you want to shorten it. Coach Ebright, Coach E. I also coach baseball if you guys didn't know that. I'm married. Have a wonderful wife. Told you she's way smarter than I am. She's a chemical engineer. But she lacks common sense. Okay, like a lot of smart people, engineers. So we're good, we're a good balance for each other. Okay. I have 2 kids. Some of you guys know Lily. She's a junior. And then Jack, my son, graduated 2 years ago. He's playing college baseball up at Neosho Community College. And so I'm going to go see him as much as I can. I'm going to be busy. My wife is busy. You're busy. I'm busy. Okay? So what you're going to see, guys, with this class is you're not going to get a lot of busy work. Okay? I don't give a lot of homework. So the biggest part of your grade is going to be your tests, and for this class, a project. Okay? Let me pass these out. Actually, the first 3 pages of this have the syllabus in it. Okay? If I do give you an assignment, I usually don't make it due like the next day. In fact, if the teachers hadn't told you, the rule is that if I give you an assignment today, what's today? Friday? I cannot make it due until Saturday night at midnight. Have you heard that? Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have time to do assignments. Teachers cannot make an assignment due today. Okay? Which is pretty cool. All right? So it's kind of like college. Your schedules are, but you have 7 classes. You have 7 classes instead of most college students, which have like 5 or 4. You know what I mean? So I'm worried about you guys. How many of you guys are taking AP English? Uh-huh. What about AP Bio? Oh, you're killing yourselves. Okay? So my class, as far as daily work goes, is not going to be heavy. All right? I promise you that. You are going to have to read a book for this class. You're going to have to write a book review. Okay? We're not close to that yet, so don't worry about that yet. Okay? And you're going to have to stay up on the notes. First couple weeks are going to be easy. Not really much going on, okay, as far as note-taking or anything like that. But this is a straight lecture class. Okay, are any of you guys in my history class this semester as well? 5th hour? Okay. Because sometimes I get students that double up for Health Academy or Teacher Academy or something like that. Okay. So anyhow, that's a 100-point paper and then your test. Now listen, the tests in this class are difficult. You are going to have to study. All right? The first two especially. Okay, the first test is a 2-day test. You got an essay and then an objective portion. And your first test won't be until October. We're going to cover a lot of material. The second test is just plain brutal. After that, they get a little easier. So the first half of this class, guys, we're going to be looking at the why. Why we have this form of government. In 1787, they wrote the U.S. Constitution. It was our second Constitution. Remember something called the Articles of Confederation? That didn't work out so good. So if you look at the title of this book, The Founding Fathers in the United States Constitution, that is the focus of this class. Now, the second half of the class will be the 3 branches of government. I can teach that to a 6th grader. You know what I mean? That stuff's pretty easy. It's cut and, it's black and white, it's cut and dry. This is more philosophical. Okay? So, if you look at this book, any of you guys have Mr. Kenton as a teacher? Okay? Great teacher. He used to teach this class a long time ago, and then he decided to become a principal and left Carroll, and then now he's teaching again. Okay? 8th graders, right? Yeah. So he built this book originally, and then Dr. Finkeldye, he taught this class, and he put his own touch on this book. And then he decided to become a principal, and now he's the assistant superintendent in charge of curriculum for the diocese. Really smart guy, Mr. Finkeldye, Dr. Finkeldye, okay? And then Mr. Ebright took over this class, that's me, and I put my own twist on this, and I'll have some other letters next to my name next year as I will have my master's degree in teaching and learning. I've also got a ton of graduate work in American history and political science as well. So I have so many college credit hours, it's crazy, okay? They don't really pay you extra for that here, so here I am at 50 and I'm still in school, okay? Wonderful stuff, all right? But anyhow, this book is our resource. I do need you to bring this one every day, okay? This is a straight lecture class. So I'm not going to be putting the notes up on the board. You're going to have to take notes both here and at home. Okay? Now, if you want to get with somebody and share notes, but guys, you want to be on these lectures. Because the explanation part of it is very important. Okay? There are going to be a few times where I ask you to read something in your book, and we're going to come back and discuss it. These discussions are big. We're not going to do busy work while we're here. We only get it twice a week. We're going to have discussions. And so I need you to be prepared for those discussions. I will give you points for how good. Now, we got 9 people in here. You're on an island when you get small classes like this. You know what I mean? You stand out. You can't hide like when there's 30 people in here. You know what I mean? So you need to come to class prepared, because I'm going to hit on you and say, look, what do you got? What do you think about this? What do you have to say? All right? So this is a big participation. I'd love for you guys to talk. Have questions. That's big, okay? So information here, guys. Canvas has a really good messaging system. I think Mrs. Gordon or somebody's having kids send messages to their teachers already, because I'm getting some just like weird messages. But anyhow, if your parents need to get a hold of me, email's a great way. Phone number, if you get, you're in a bind and you got a question about something, you call my house. Hopefully not after 10 o'clock. My wife doesn't like that. Okay. Yeah. So I have a quote here, and I'm just going to kind of run with this and then get into the syllabus a little bit. But this is James Madison. This, you've all heard of James Madison. What did he do? What do we know about him?
He's the president.
Yeah, what number president?
Is it 2nd or 4th?
4th.
Okay.
Okay, so Adams, Jefferson, Madison. Okay. Now, Madison was a protege of Jefferson, so they were really tight. Okay. And Madison also did some other really important things besides president. Probably more important than when he was president. And the first of those was he was at the Constitutional Convention in 1787. And he brought a plan of government with him. He was from Virginia like Jefferson. What was the name of the plan?
Virginia.
The Virginia Plan. You remember that? He wrote that. Now, the Virginia Plan didn't become our Constitution, but a lot of what was in the Constitution eventually came from his plan. And this guy sat back. He didn't even introduce his stuff. He had somebody else do it so he could sit back and watch the room and take notes on what people were saying about it. The debate. So Madison took great notes at the convention. So all the debates that went on about our Constitution by these founders, by these 55 men, Madison took notes. So they call Madison the father of the Constitution, which I think is more important than president. He also, in 1791, became the first Speaker of the House, the first Congress. He was the leader of the House of Representatives. In doing so in 1791, he helped author the Bill of Rights that he was originally opposed to. Okay? So Madison is huge, guys. So that's who we're talking about here. We got any Hamilton fans? Like the show, the Broadway show Hamilton? Cool. All right, so you know a little bit about the bastard child from the Virgin Islands, right? He's a genius. Madison's a genius as well. Okay, I mean, certifiable geniuses. All right? Way smarter than Donald Trump. Way smarter than Barack Obama or George Bush. Either one of the Bushes. Okay? Now, this is what Madison said in one of the Federalist Papers that he wrote. Okay, it's a great little quote, so follow along. But what is government itself but the greatest of all reflections on human nature? If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. Is President Trump an angel? Is Nancy Pelosi an angel? Okay? So we need controls on that. Okay? Some people think we need controls on our governor. Okay? We have to have that. Okay? So, in framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the greatest difficulty lies in this. You must first enable the government to control the governed, the people, and then in the next place, oblige it to control itself. This is difficult. A dependence on the people is no doubt the primary control on government. That's you and I. Now, have any of you turned 18 yet? Okay. Have you registered? Good, good. Got to get on that. Anybody going to be 18? Anybody else by November 3rd? Okay. Oh, almost this whole class. Okay? You guys can register now, even if you're not 18 yet. You can go ahead and register. Okay? Now, we have to hold government accountable. We do that through voting. We do that through protesting. We do that through communication, sending emails. Okay? That is our role. And if we don't do it, then who's going to keep internal or external controls on government? Okay? That's up to us. And if we don't have a context of knowledge to make good decisions on how we vote, then we're going to elect bad people. Okay? Now, this is, come on. You coming?
I don't think it's coming.
Over here. This is called the swivel. Okay? I'm going over here to the Electoral College. Okay? I'm going to go to this map like 50 times a semester, okay? We live in Kansas, okay? And with this, when we go to vote on November 3rd, We are not voting for Trump Biden or Trump Pence or Biden Harris. We are voting for 6 Republicans or 6 Democrats that we call electors. The parties choose these 6 people. We probably don't even know who they are, their names. We can find out who their names are, but we probably don't know them. You know what I mean? There's 6 people, representatives, electors, that we are voting for. So if you vote for Trump, you're voting for the 6th Republican. Red is Republican, blue is Democrat here, okay? If you vote for Biden, you're voting for 6 blue or Democratic electors. Whoever wins 51% or more of the state of Kansas in the popular vote, Republicans usually, those 6 Republicans will go to Washington, D.C. and cast the actual ballot for president and vice president. You're not voting for them. You're voting for these people, not the president and vice president. Now, it'll have their name on there, Trump and Biden. They'll have their names up there. But you're actually voting for electors. Why is that? Why do we use this instead of the popular vote? How many guys have ever heard this phrase that we live in a democracy? Everybody hears that. You know what I mean? Politicians say it all the time. We live in a republic, a representative democracy. So we elect people to make decisions for us, just like Congress. We elect the House and Senate, okay, to make decisions for us. We elect the governor, we elect state legislatures, city council, Central County Commission. We elect all those people. And they make decisions for us. Why? Because we're busy. We don't have enough time to be experts on all these different things. So we elect people that think like we do, and they make the decisions for us. Sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you agree with them, sometimes you don't. Okay? Now, there's 538 if you were to add all these up. 100 senators, 435 members of the House of Representatives. That's 538. Washington, D.C. gets 3 electoral college votes. They're not a state, but they do get to vote for president and vice president. Okay? Now, in the Senate, Kansas has 2 members. California has 2 members. We are equal in the Senate. They set that up that way because the first 13 colonies that became states, that became part of the country, the small states did not want the big states like New York. If you're Rhode Island, you don't want New York with all its people bossing you around. Because people in Rhode Island are different than people in New York. Kind of like people in California are different than people in Alabama or Texas, on average. Yeah, you have liberals, conservatives, Republicans, and Democrats in every state. In fact, there's more Republicans in California than there are in Kansas, just based on population. You understand? But there's a lot more Democrats in California. That's why a Republican president hasn't won that since 1980. So Bush won it in 88. It was the last time a Republican won California. Okay? So, the reason they set it up this way is to protect small states from big states. Does that make sense? So the House of Representatives, based on population, California has 53 members of the House. We have 4. So you add 2 for the Senate, and that's how you get your electoral college. Okay? 538 total. Divided by 2 is 269. Add 1, 270 is the magic number. Okay? So Trump and Biden are trying to figure out a pathway to 270. Now, if you look at these little maps down here, look at this. This is 2004. Look at the country. It's almost all red. But the Electoral College was 286 to 251. Looks like a landslide, but it's not. Okay? The last time we had a landslide election was 1984. Well, 88 was pretty big too, but 84, Ronald Reagan won every state except for Minnesota. Crazy. So it was 525 to 13. Walter Mondale. Okay. So that's just, that's just a little look at the Electoral College, but at the same time, we're looking at why the government set itself up the way it did, okay, to protect those small states. Okay. Course description: student understand working knowledge of governmental systems in the United States, other nations, with an emphasis, yes, on the U.S. Constitution, necessity for the rule of law, the civic values of American constitutional democracy, rights, privileges, and moral responsibilities to become active participants in the democratic process in one's faith. Okay? What are you guys looking at over there?
I was looking at the political ideology.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Okay. This one I want to talk about. Student understands the rule of law as it applies to family, school, local, state, and national government. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, the Sedgwick County Commission voted to extend the mask mandate to October 21st in Sedgwick County. Did you hear that? Who thinks October 21st will be the end of this? Okay. At least they're doing it 1 month at a time and not saying through the end of the year, but I'm thinking we're going to go through the end of the year and probably beyond. So find that mask that's comfortable. I like those. They're light. They hurt my ears. Right back here is a wear on the back of your ears there, and it gets mine. Okay. I've been wearing the gaiters. Those are pretty good. But you got to find a good one. Can't be too tight. Okay, that's local government. Okay? In most years, and this would be interesting to see if any of you guys know, in most years, my students, don't really know who the governor is. But with this whole COVID thing, we start to get appreciation for who our governor is now, because she, it's a little bit of a hint, she's the one that shut down the schools in the spring. Okay? So, how many of you guys know who our governor is? Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so Laura Kelly, okay? Now, I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? I didn't vote for Laura Kelly. She's a Democrat, and I've really tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm not a hater, you know what I'm saying? I'm like hating on her, okay? And I still don't really hate on her, okay? I mean, look, I'm the baseball coach. So when they shut down our season last spring and shut down school, it was extremely painful. But because of all the questions, the unknowns about this COVID, I was like, well, this is probably the right thing to do. We don't know how bad this is going to get. We haven't had anything like this since 1917, I guess. Okay? So, but now, we're allowed to go to restaurants again. We're allowed to come back to school. Okay? So, there are certain things that I disagree with the governor on, and certain things I agree with her on. But we know who the governor is. We see the impact of the governor and state government. We see the impact of local government. Okay? And then at the national government, should the President of the United States be allowed to issue a nationwide mask mandate? Do you want the President to have the power to do that? Sedgwick County is different than some of the other counties in this state. There's 105 counties. Some of them have tiny populations. We live in an urban area. There's close to 500,000 people that live in Sedgwick County. Okay? So this makes more sense in Sedgwick County than it does in Colby, Kansas, or Marion, Kansas. Name a small town. Yeah, I don't know. You guys probably know Kansas better than I do. Small towns you go see grandma and grandpa in. Syracuse, Kansas. Okay? You understand? So is it better for those decisions about the mask be made at the local level, right? Rather than at the state or national level? That's called federalism. Okay? So the whole thing with the 259, sports, in school, okay, that's a local government making that decision. And they changed their mind. Right? Because what happened? People got angry and they protested. And they let them know. So last week, when they had that big rally over at Northwest High School, and all the kids came out and parents in support, I was right there with them. As a coach, I understand the importance of sports for a lot of these kids, especially for our inner city kids. The only reason why some of those kids are even in school is because of sports. You can shut down sports, what's going to happen? Kids are going to drop out. They're going to get in trouble. Crime is going to rise. There will be more victims of crime. And those kids are going to go to jail. I'd say 10, 15% of them.